Last time on the Empire's Edge.
They're foolish to ignore us. We present a much greater threat.
He's oriented himself to see what's happening further down in the street. So
Somebody wants to see death coming.
Could we strap the dead bugbear to it and see if it would run back to from whence they came?
you hear Carl Graves saying, he's back, stand down, stand down.
We're headed to Sarntarzul.
You can tell that their eyes are just widened if we're looking at all of you. And the mayor says, well then, let's do all we can to get you guys ready. So you're all moving toward maybe different buildings at this point, but the wizard from the Confederation of Duchies, as well as the cleric, that is Rolf Cuthbert and Wilhelm Lohr, saying to the three of you, we would want to sometime while you're here, today, tomorrow, if you would help us walk through and find out what's in the upper story to what they were referred to locally as the wizard's house, that'd be very helpful. We're very concerned about getting through that and
that would be
making it
beneficial.
safe.
Why do they get to be scared of it and then expect us to go through? Hold on a second.
So what kind of things have you encountered so
Because we have
far?
more levels than all of them combined.
True.
That on the stairs going up, there was a trap of fire, and we managed to escape severe damage to it, but if that was just on that, and we've not been here for all of that long, and then the cleric in particular, that is Willem Lohr, said that once I set my shrine up in one of the rooms downstairs, I think it used to be probably a dining room, it does make me wonder what the upstairs was, because it seems as though they lived in the downstairs and used the upstairs for their individual professions. So with something that could create that much damage, that they left it that way when there's nothing to guard against, and he looks around to the people that are crowded around other townspeople, there might have been a bit of paranoia on their part, and it could be worthwhile to have someone more experienced to go through it.
We'd be glad to.
I don't think any of us are missing any hit points, too, after that battle, so...
Yeah, but I wonder, I should
I think
have
we got a long rest
an
in
ability
between.
to detect,
Sure.
to detect traps.
Yeah, it's called...
Detect traps?
Jacob took a level in Rogue.
Yeah. So
Oh,
he
yeah.
is-
Oh.
detect, right.
Yes!
And then,
I
of course,
can do the thing.
Then, of course, Laurie and Carl Graves, the mayors of Shepton, have already asked for a strategy planning meeting with all of you.
And I want to teach somebody how to cast lightning because that was helpful.
Okay, so more than likely, no one's going to be doing anything tonight. So you guys are just going to head
Right,
to your
yeah.
individual places, get sleep,
Recuperate.
replenish. Yeah. And if you want to have any conversations, because the both Jacob and Boris are staying in the same house you were the last time, but it's actually now the residence of Eric Santero. And he is a fighter, he said, slightly disabled from Manhurst Duchy, invalidated from the Civil War, but he's still very, very active warrior. So if you want to have any conversations, ask him any questions, that would be potentially a tonight thing if you want to right now.
I'd probably talk to him a fair bit and get as much news as I could, but I don't think anything like really especially
Unless he passed through
Us
Gloss Ryan,
relevant,
I have no
yeah.
questions for him, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he'll probably tell you a story about how, I don't say he took an arrow to the knee, but it would be something a little bit
You know what's
like
neat
that.
about that phrase?
What's that?
That's actually a euphemism to refer to getting married.
Yep.
He did not take an arrow to the knee. He took a sword to the chest.
He got stabbed or
Yeah.
cut or
Whatever, and he doesn't have quite
honorable
the same
discharge,
capacity.
yada yada.
Partially diced.
But he is talking about areas of the Civil War that is so
That was
far...
a god-awful pun.
Nice. That is so far south of your own barony,
Mhm.
Boris, that
It's not news from home,
Yeah,
it's
you
just
know
war
the
generally.
names in like from some map you used to see
You
at
could
home.
probably picture the odd banner too, but
Right, but it isn't even as though you could see strategically. Well, they're holding this ridge. Yeah, didn't know that ridge even existed.
Sure.
Yeah, sounds great.
he might
So-
have made it up just now. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's all very general, but it does like he had decent knowledge of the war, and it also seems he was on the side of the Theocents,
good.
your own side. So yeah, that would be awkward if it was the other side, I'm sure. So that's all for that. So next morning you get up.
as awkward as my in-laws.
Right on the wrong side of the war. So then the next day, what do you want to tackle first when it comes to these different things you have? on
While
your
we've
list?
got full hit points on all our spell slots and such, let's
Go clear out the building.
let's fight goblins or whatever spooky crap's up there.
Yeah, why would they
Goblins.
have put anything like that up there? What
I
were
don't know.
they-
They're wizards and they're weird.
What were they up to?
The attic, apparently.
Boo.
I can make bad puns too.
Well, if there's something strange in your neighborhood.
Well, as a reminder from when you guys were in Shepton before, that the Suttons, not the Suttons, the cartographers, the Graves, the mayors of the town, that they had said, they kind of like looked at each other, that they were invited in at different points. They'd been on the bottom floor, but they'd never gone upstairs.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
And it was just a point of being very awkward, and that the like the wizard and the cleric that were there before, they were isolated. They were introspective. They did not get involved in what was happening in Shepton, but would help out with different things from time to time that were of a spellcasting nature.
Danger introverts.
Yeah, but then when they were they actually went out to battle the lizards, they must have been overwhelmed. Either they didn't understand what they were fighting, didn't have the right spells prepared, who knows what, but they just never came back.
Casters do tend to have kind of small hit points, present company excluded.
Yeah,
Squishy.
when there's no shield wall in front of them, it does get to be problematic if something breaks whatever you think your perimeter is. So it could have just been that they were protecting their own magical stuff. It could have been they didn't trust somebody that's here in Shepton.
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah, it could be they have a fiend in a bottle, and we've got to fight actually a major battle right now.
Could be.
Okay.
Let's adventure.
So
you're studying pretty intensely.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out what things I might be able to cast with my conjure up phase. And one of the things that I can do is get darklings. I can conjure up darklings. And
Okay.
I'm wondering
Yes,
if
though.
that would be helpful.
Googling.
Almost dice darkling.
Darkling, yeah.
El Darkling.
El Darkling.
Well, actually,
Los darklings?
yeah.
Los Darkling Ducks.
¿Por qué no los dos?
Boo.
Darkwing duck.
Let's see.
Well, what I was wondering is if there's traps on the stairs, let's send them up the stairs. What?
You're supposed to be a good guy.
Oh, well,
They're sentient. They've got an intelligence of 10.
oh,
Go die on my behalf, small minion.
Really? Like it would hurt them?
Well, I mean,
Well,
they go back for the plane from which they came.
How many hit points did you say these things would have?
13.
Yeah, so there's a very good chance that they'd get dusted by stuff.
Yeah, but then the traps would be gone. And
It would hurt as that was happening.
I am not arguing the efficacy. I am arguing the ethics.
All right, so are we
I think,
still good?
honestly, we'd be better off if you conjured pixies and they cast fly on us and we went in through a window instead of the stairs.
Hey, we
Or,
could do that
even
too.
better, we let the rogue look because he doesn't have to spend spell slots to notice traps.
I don't have evasion yet, so if it goes off, I just get...
no, but
and
you'll
then
be able
I
to see
heal
it. So
because
don't.
you've got like
True.
70 hit points instead of 13.
And
Yeah. But I think like trap finding used to be like something that was specific to the the
Yeah,
class.
now it's just
now
specific
anyone
to-
can, but I just have
You know,
supposed to have
what's
good
your investigation
investigation.
and or perception?
perception is good, 10. Investigation, 2.
Yeah, I've got 2 for both.
Yeah.
You get to the house, and both Willem Lohr and Rolf Cuthbert are outside right now, sitting in rocking chairs on the front porch of that house. They're very pleased to see you. Coffee? Do you want something to drink? Tea?
Sure.
sure.
And
Yeah.
so they both go in. They motion all of you, the three of you, inside.
It's into the wizard's house?
Right.
Okay.
And again, it's the you
Where we
walk-
found the amulet we gave to Indanur. Or rather, you gave to Indanur.
I give to Indanar.
Right. So you're in the little entryway, and then to the one side is what's like a dining area.
It's homey and slightly terrifying.
It's exactly that. And you can tell that it looks a little bit like, it's kind of man cave-ish, that there's little bits of this and that all over the place. Makes it look like adventurers lived here.
Oh.
Okay, so not minimalist, maximalist. They want everything on every surface.
Nice.
Very much so.
Think
And
of like your grandparents' house, they have all those like really creepy dolls all over the place. Like it's homey for someone that isn't me.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's quite
Wow.
so actively malevolent. Also,
So-
let's go into those issues once we're off the mic.
yeah, remind me to never go to your grandparents' house. All right, so yeah, they're in there. They prepare more hot beverage. You guys sit, you talk. They point out on the stairs on the room on the other side that there is a big scorched area, and you can see where flame gouted out from someplace and burned everything right in that area.
Do they
Curse
know
you,
what?
Elon Musk?
It's not a flamethrower. Yeah. Do they Do they know what triggered it? Asking him that.
They know they're about halfway up, so it could have been something in the floor itself, on the stairs, but it seemed to have been magical in nature. And Rolf Cuthbert seems pretty certain of that as he was making various arcana checks, that it was a spell, but it also seemed to have a mechanical trigger.
Okay.
But beyond that, they didn't even try venturing back up again.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So I could cast detect traps, which using that, I would sense the presence of any trap within range that is within the line of sight. A trap for the purpose would include that which would inflict a sudden or unexpected effect.
Okay.
I consider harmful.
I consider being on fire a harmful effect.
Is my dip into rogue meaningless to you guys?
About to say, if Jacob goes first, is it still harmful to you?
It is meaningful to me. It is not meaningful to the one who casts spells to just completely override your
What
net.
level spell slot are you getting rid of if you try to just avoid me searching?
It's a second level.
No, mine is a free roll of the die to see if I can notice it, especially knowing that it's there. We know traps are there.
Good.
So then
I'm
once,
just telling you.
So you guys have been conversing a little bit. You've had some tea and coffee. And so, Jacob, it sounds like you're taking point and heading over to the staircase.
Yeah, so carefully walking up, taking
Weird. I'm going
glance.
second now.
I know, right? I cast Jacob
What is
goes
this?
first.
What is this? A
Did
vampire
you say you
fight?
cast Jacob goes first?
Yeah, well, I used to cast Boris goes first. I'm swapping that out for a different first level spell. Any advantage lended to me by knowing where to look for or what to look for this trap, or roll flat?
They point out how far up the stairs. There's a landing about halfway up the stairs, and that seems to be where that took place. So go ahead and roll yourself an advantage on that check to have it so specified.
23.
Yeah, you make your DC, and you can tell that there is a section of the actual landing platform that seems to be the trigger. You can't tell what happens magically once that goes. You have a pretty good idea from what they said, but it does seem to be that it's linked to the actual landing itself.
Okay. I don't believe I have thieves' tools. What are the odds of there being a set of those in this house somewhere? If we were to take a brief look, because I don't think I can disable
approximating
something to that effect.
Yeah, but if
I don't think I can
we
disable.
know where the trigger is, can't we just step over the trigger?
Yeah, we can do that easily. I can just say, hey, if you don't step here, you won't do it. But as far as actually disabling the trap, I think I have to have thieves' tools to do that.
The last time we had danger stairs, I rolled down about a third of the stairs. So I vote
But I want to
disable.
think that if you fall down the stairs and you hit the trigger, you'll be moving fast enough that you'll miss the trap anyway.
I'd like to think that too. We'll see if he thinks that.
As you say that to them, they're looking around for anything. It's like, a nut pick, a screwdriver. Do those even exist? That they're looking for something that could approximate that kind of that material.
even with like the alchemical things they have here, just
But
any
going
long
back
piece
in
of metal.
time, somewhere on your list, Jacob, didn't you find what was described as very fine tools way back? Like even going as far back as when you guys were in Sarntar Azul, didn't you pick something up that looked like a fine set of tools?
I have woodcarver's tools.
As an interjection, proficiency with these tools lets you add your proficiency bonus to ability checks you make to disarm traps or open locks. I think you can do it without them.
Okay.
It's just you're not getting your proficiency bonus.
Okay, so
that'll work
I'm just
too.
getting my what's the roll? Just a dexterity check?
Dexterity check. Dexterity check using thieves' tools to disarm the trap.
Or intelligence arcana for magical traps, and then potentially just using an action to disable things.
Mm-hmm. So you would figure for this one dexterity, since you think it has a mechanical trigger, and not the others.
Gotcha.
So you have different implements from this household, because there are various kinds of tools that are here. You different, cutting things, probing kind of things.
I mean,
whatnot.
if you've seen enough movies, you can
Ice
pick
pick.
a lock with anything. So
Even a carrot.
got a bobby pin and a rubber band. I'm gonna go for it.
Okay, rubber bands were not invented, but anyway. So yeah, go ahead and make your roll. And
I was about to ask, how do you know? But you invented this
do
world.
now.
Okay. Am I with these tools? Am I just being able to do it, or are we using these as like improvised thieves' tools?
You're able to do it as though they were thieves' tools.
Okay. Ooh, natural 18, which makes that a 26.
Yeah, so you're all able to do this, and you're able to disarm the trigger to it. So this trigger will no longer function, and you realize it was the whole landing. It was not
nice.
just one step of it. So if you try to step over a single board, it still would have gone,
Well.
even though they stepped in a certain spot. So yeah, excellent DC roll.
Do a little tap dance to show off that I'm very proud of myself.
Yeah.
And trigger the rolling boulder.
No, so yeah, tap dance well received, because you're now seeing the spot where they were hit by fire, but you've definitely disabled this one.
Okay.
Now the magic of the fire is still in that area.
Okay.
But the trigger to it is disabled.
I'll do before I invite them up. I'll just do a perception on the area to see if there's any additional traps.
Okay.
In case this wasn't the only one.
I'd help, but I'm not proficient, so I can't actually help.
You're rolling pretty well.
23. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is not
Okay.
here on the stairs. The rest of the stairs look clear.
Come on up.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm guessing it
Up we
is
come.
the two of the Zelen and Boris, and then it's the cleric and the wizard, Wilhelm and Rolf.
And does your you have a wand now that does detect magic, right?
I do indeed.
Okay.
All right. So
I didn't think you wanted me to interfere in your zone.
Oh no, I just mean
here.
like that being going now would at least give us a direction to move into.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you turn to get to the top of the stairs, there's a landing. Rather, at the very top of the stairs, there's a brief hallway and a door off to the left-hand side. It is closed.
Okay, so I'm going to activate the detect magic on the wand, just to see if it gives us any idea of where we want to go first.
Do magical traps give off a magical presence?
One would assume.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Yeah. So if nothing else, you can at least do that.
So you said you're enacting that?
Yeah.
Zone? Yeah. So yes, you do. You do determine that there is some kind of magic on the door itself.
Okay, so there's magic on the door itself. Do you want to check it to see if it's a trap?
I will do that. Searching it. 22.
There is no mechanical trap on this door.
Okay. For finding traps, even though they aren't physical in nature, isn't it still just the same roll in order to find it?
Is that specified as if you're looking for a mechanical trap? Does that make it a different actual roll?
I don't know if it actually notices a difference between whether or not they are magically done or mechanically done. I think they all just behave the same way, at least for the roll, because 5e is very simplistic that way.
Oh, I see.
That traps are just kind of grouped all together.
Wow, that seems like a completely different skill sets.
You would
to
think.
Me, yeah, just taking a quick read of a thing.
In most cases, a trap's description is clear enough that you can adjudicate whether a character's actions locate or foil the trap. But yeah, it doesn't really do a lot to talk about it being magical versus it being mechanical.
Okay, understood. Then we'll go with it this way: that there's no mechanical component to well, there is something on the door. There's magic on the door. There's no mechanical component to it. That it's probably going to be something then you would guess. If it is a trap, then it's simply passing through a field or into an area instead of it actually being like triggered on the door opening.
So like what was at the where the throne was, that you could get stuck there.
Yep. And here you go. Here's the only thing it says about magical stuff. It doesn't say any difference about detecting it, but it just says common triggers like physical things like stepping on a pressure plate or a false section of floor. And then magical traps might have like touching a thing or entering an area, but it doesn't actually have an entry for if that makes a different roll for being able to detect it.
Got it. For me, I think if it's a different actual ability score check, then that's I'm going to make it a different roll for
Which,
it.
I mean, being the ranger, I am magically inclined in some way, so maybe I would have just enough knowledge to be able to mess with these traps that would justify my ability to do so.
Well, knowing that there's something there, any spellcaster up front, go ahead and roll it then as an arcana.
Cool.
And see if you can determine anything about what's happening there.
Can I do religion because that's my context for spellcasting?
Yeah, sure.
10, take it or leave it.
You don't notice any kind of a magic.
21, take it or leave it.
Hey.
That it does
21.
not seem to be in your area of expertise, but you do believe that there is something that's going to happen here that would be harmful. That would inflict
So
hurt.
what if I did dispel magic?
That's a catch-all.
Makes sense, yeah.
So I
With your detect magic, does she know the
type?
Yeah, the school of the magic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Evocation
It
being
would
fire if
stand
it
to
was another
reason.
one of those traps again.
Hold on.
Okay.
It's of the
I
school
think
of...
I think it does.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's of the school of spikes in your face.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. The hidden seventh school.
that you do think is an evocation.
There's 8 schools.
That's what they want you to think.
You would know that
Yeah,
it is evocation.
That'd be the
Zelen.
hidden 9th.
Okay. So there you go.
Yeah, so I can see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears the magic.
And this one's red,
and
so you know
learn
it's
this,
evocation.
and you learn at school.
Right. Yeah. So evocation.
Okay.
And so dispelling. Do I get a save? Is there a save on it, or is it just a?
Hold on. If I dispel
Depends
magic,
on the level, I think.
Okay.
when you cast the spell, using spell slot of 4th level or higher, you automatically end the effects of the spell on the target if the spell's level is equal to or less than the level of the spell slot you used.
Okay, so
Okay.
if it's at a spell effect of 3rd or lower, it just ends. Otherwise, Zelen has to make a wisdom check
Yeah. So
Why
then
do I
let's-
have to make a wisdom check?
because you're doing the thing.
If the spell is
you're
higher.
making it if
Oh.
it's a higher level spell.
All right.
So what level spell are you using to cast yours?
You don't want to use one of your highest ones just in case. Because your wisdom's probably pretty good for making the roll if you had to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to do it at a 3rd level.
Okay. And does it say what happens, Boris, when it's dead even, 3rd versus 3rd?
Like 3rd or lower.
3rd or lower.
Third or lower.
It's automatically dispelled.
Okay,
and
good
this is
guess.
Victor
Yeah.
because Boris can't cast detect
You
magic.
picked the
or
right
rather
number.
dispel magic,
on
and
you.
it doesn't know.
Okay, my son Boris, Victor.
Okay.
If we're
so-
gonna get into this kind of autolon, here,
Use your words, Victor.
Ontological.
that one discussion, I need to be way less sober.
Okay. It ends, Zelen,
okay.
when
so
you cast your spell.
So the spell is off the door. Now, if detect magic is still operating, can I now see if there's magic beyond the door?
I think it just gives you a 30-foot.
Was it a
ball
concentration
around
thing?
you.
Oh, you can just redo it again.
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
just redo it again. The spell, it can,
Unless detect
the
magic.
spell can penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal,
Yeah.
a thin sheet of lead, or
Yeah.
3 feet of
There-
wood.
But
there
unless
is.
unless
There's definitely magic
unless
ahead of you.
dispel
So,
magic
okay.
took a concentration slot, you didn't have to recast it though.
Yeah,
so
you're
it's still
yeah,
good.
you
detect
still had
magic's
it.
still going.
So, okay, so the spell is off the door, but there is definitely still magic beyond the door.
Well, good. Otherwise, it would have been a
Uh,
wasted trip.
Yeah. How many auras can you gauge? Size? School?
Let me concentrate on that.
Yeah, I'm asking you, but I'm actually
size,
asking.
school.
I know
how-
she starts concentrating, and then her voice sounds similar to the DM.
That there is a very strong concentration, say a little further on, like maybe 15, 20, 17 maybe feet away, a little under 20, because that'd be like out of the house. And it seems to have a very, very strong resonance of divination.
Ooh.
And then near it, there's a variety of weaker points that seem as though they would be maybe like alteration.
Okay.
Okay.
Divination
a lot
is
of
fun, though.
interesting
I hate to dispel magic when we don't know what it is, because I could dispel magic
Well,
on something
and
that's
those
useful.
could be the magic items inside.
Exactly.
Whatever these
yeah,
people
That's
some
my
kind of
point.
ongoing effect. We're just trying to gauge if there's like explosion on the other side of door.
Right.
Yeah, which
So who wants to open the door?
Guess that's me.
I don't have evasion yet, so you still have most hit points.
Yep. Most hit points, best armor class. Brace for impact, open door.
Okay, so when the door opens, it is not locked. It just opens up.
Nice.
Well, it was locked. We
Yeah.
just magically dispelled that.
Well, it wasn't locked. It was just
It was locked with explode.
the door's like, it's not locked. Let's go in.
The key is your life.
The room here seems to be
Here's an
like
interesting mechanic.
a joint sitting room. It's about 10 feet by about the width of the whole building,
Okay.
which is almost about 20 feet. And there's a couple of chairs. There's a fireplace at the one end. There's a table. It looks like it's a place where the two different people that used to live in this house could operate together. Beyond them, there are 2 doors, and just gauging the footprint, that there's going to be 2 more rooms beyond this sitting room. Your points of magic seem to be coming from both of those other rooms that are beyond this one.
The table that we see, is
Yes.
it a coffee table? Is it like this
A
is where we
workbench?
It's like-
exactly
it's like
this is
work-
where we do
it's
chemical
like work
stuff.
table, and there is a bunch
It's a
of
working coffee table.
Yeah.
There are papers on it that could either be just people taking notes, journal. It could be that they're working on researching different spells or
Okay.
components of this or
So
that
I'm
together.
going to walk over the papers, take a quick glance, and then hand them back to the abbot
Okay.
to have him study them.
Kind of like
Makes sense.
sheafing them all together.
That's right.
Yeah, so there's nothing magical here on. So you hand that off, and immediately, he starts going through these individual papers as you guys are proceeding forward. Now, there's also like a couple plates, dishes, empty mugs.
Yeah, workspace
that
stuff.
they were
Superior
up here doing
quality?
stuff and just left
Sell
here.
'em?
No, kind of the same as everything in Shepton.
Okay.
Do they rate it
anything else in this room
Yeah,
that's
right.
worth noticing? Anything?
No, also-
anything hanging
That's
from
the
the
question you should
ceiling?
always
or-
ask the DM. Is there anything worth noticing?
Right. That's
As
right.
it hits you,
Does put it on him then instead of
This
us.
is true.
it is still very man-cavey. There's a lot of stuff in here that takes you a long time to go through. But with that detection of magic, you know that everything in here is mundane. It could have either a particular intellectual value, it could have some kind of area of knowledge that they're pursuing, or it could be a component part to something else they're working on. But it's
the stack of 70 Rubik's Cubes. Worthless, as I suspected.
But the doors beyond, those places beyond, seem to be the places where they have magical things.
Right door first?
I'm more curious about the divination one. Which door is that behind?
Seconded.
Yeah, the right-hand side.
Okay.
Okay.
So we do the.
So check for traps?
Well, you still have your detect magic going. Is there anything other than? Oh no, I guess we would have known about that before now.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Trap checking. 14. Ugh.
Wait, let me double check the DC on that because some of these were lower than
Oh, okay. Well, a little bit behind the screen there. DC on that. Wait a minute. Looks clear.
Actually, no.
I thought you said it was clear. I said it looks clear.
The thing is, it comes down toward you.
That looks really
wow.
sharp.
Yeah.
You botched your inspection so badly you triggered it.
Oh man.
As far as you can tell, there's no trap on this door.
Fantastic. I relay that to my team.
All right. Well, I seem to have been volunteered for breach, so I breach.
Having only been a rogue for 8 days.
All right. So,
I'm confident in your abilities. You
Yeah.
wouldn't steer me along.
I'm seeing dice being picked up.
as you go to open the door, it feels like it's locked. Like it turns part way, and I'm rolling a couple of hits on you.
Okay.
Okay,
so,
those are the good
Let
the
go
good
of the
traps.
door. Let go of the door.
No, the good traps are the ones where he has to try and hit us versus us just rolling a reflex.
if you
save.
knock your drink into my laptop, whatever
That
you're
would-
attacking me
that
will
would
be the least
really,
of the
really,
concerns
really
at this table.
bad. Let's see. I think only one of these is going to do. So this is at +8.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's a 14 and a 17
Miss.
and a 24.
Ooh,
Ow.
hit.
You were right. One did hit.
Okay, so one definitely did hit. And make a con saving throw.
I'm decent at those. Okay. 19 for a 28.
Okay, very good. So
Dang.
you take 2 points of damage for the dart that actually stuck you.
Any particular variety? Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm just curious.
Variety of dart.
Damage.
Oh.
Piercing.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
It's being stabbed damage. Makes sense.
I thought you were asking like was the dart poisoned or anything like that?
Well, I think it
What,
was
with the
given
constitution,
con save. Yeah.
Yeah, so you made your con save and only take 7 points of damage.
Oh.
That's
You
still a
feel
lot.
slightly nauseated.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're
Jacob's
aware
gonna
of
feel
that.
worse.
The other couple.
You want to inspect this door again? I seem to have a dart in my neck.
The other two have glanced off, like, your shoulder armor, the chest armor on the side, but they came from 3 different directions.
Okay, I pick one of them up and stab him with it.
But can you push the door open the rest of the way?
No, the door is still locked.
The door is still locked.
Heavy boot.
Okay.
Yeah, make that as a strength check.
As an athletics check?
Athletics check, thank you.
Deal. Okay, that was very briefly very scary. It was a 2 for a second, then it tipped to 18. So that must have been all those times it was almost a 20 for you and was a 4 instead.
Yeah.
So that's a 25 total.
Yeah, definitely. So go ahead and roll that as damage, like an unarmed strike with your...
I think you don't roll unarmed strike
no,
damage. It's just a
it's-
flat number.
5.
Okay. And the door, you hear the jam break, and the door goes like smashing open.
Now, when that
bang,
happens, do
hits the
more
wall.
darts go ping, 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 ping? Or?
No,
Okay,
the
so
darts,
that was the end of the trip.
they weren't like, there's not like a...
Now it's just a
there's
Gatling
not a-
gun of darts.
There's not a magazine of them up there. It was just all of them at once. And you were looking
Dart
into...
machine go burr.
It's just really interesting to me that these people who are part of the village were using poison darts to protect this room. I
Yeah,
mean,
they were the worst hosts of the book club.
there's
They really were.
something that either they were doing something they shouldn't do, or there was somebody in the village they didn't trust.
They're spellcasters. They're always doing things they
But
shouldn't
here's what's
do.
bizarre.
True.
When you kick that open, Boris, inside is an altar to Uko.
An altar
Weird.
to Uko, not an altar Uko.
Ooh,
Not an
What?
alt.
Okay,
Not an altar,
one of us
altar.
just had a stroke. I'm not confident it isn't
Uko,
me.
Uko, or Uko, Uko?
Smells toast.
All of us, because I made toast for breakfast this morning.
That at the far end of this room, which is again just like 12 feet away, that there is a stylized Adlai tree that looks.
23 on a religion to see if it's been profaned.
It has not been.
Good.
Yeah, But there
Literally.
is the stylized Adelaide tree and stone, very much like was at the chapel in Warland for
Okay.
Father Timothy.
Yeah,
That was sealed
Added
up.
Timothy, yeah.
That you have the tree itself that's representing the symbol of their religion, and then there's a stone slab, looks very marble in front of it, and then different areas to put different incense burning and candles off to either side.
That's all that's in here? What's my detect magic doing?
That where that pointed you in a direction, just to the right-hand side of that,
It's actually the
there
door.
is what looks like a little sand garden, like a sand
And
box.
that's where my detect magic
That's
is?
where the tech magic's coming
Let's get
from.
digging.
Yeah, religion check to try and recognize this.
The
Since
whole-
it's in like cleric room.
And the whole box or something in the box?
Yeah, so it
15.
Really, you say?
So Jacob, when you asked that, I'm sure Zelen would be able to say right away, it seems to be the whole box.
Oh, that's not very portable.
15 on a religion check to gauge it. Yeah, it's a
All
box
right,
full
so,
of sand.
So I guess what you would gauge from that is
Pocket sand.
that as you made your check, Boris, it'd be
I'm sorry, I
something
think we
like
need to pause. So
I just kicking the hill. I was not expecting that right in that moment. But I'm wondering now, what mechanical advantage would there be to having that weapon? Just that, like, oh, I'm out of arrows, pocket sand. And that's when we find out that this sand is the most powerful sand in all of the
inducing
world.
blindness.
or
Oh
this,
my gosh.
somebody's carrying around like an 18-inch by 18-inch wooden box with sand in it just as they go dripping through a dungeon, waiting for the right moment. Laser beams at you. Sand. That did it. That Boris, you would have to say with this make would be, I've heard of this sort of thing. That it's like a divining implement.
Okay, so
That
like
is-
some kind of like scrying alternative from a desert.
Kind of. That as you're walking up to it, there's this sand in it, and there's lines that are going through it in like wavy patterns, and there are 7 stones, each one like just to fit in the palm of your hand, like a meditation. You put in our terms a little like bigger than a standard 20-sider.
Okay, yeah.
But about that size, and they're of varying colors. And everyone, go ahead and make an intelligence check as a memory.
Okay,
Ooh, natural 17 for
Now
a
that
19.
Jacob remembers.
Boris does not. With
And
an 8.
Zelen, where are you?
Dylan's still thinking.
Okay, so at the very least, Jacob.
9. And what do you add for that?
Intelligence
Intelligence,
modifier.
yep.
Oh,
So I got
that
an
would
8.
make sense.
And what'd you get then?
Natural 9 for
It's
a
the
31.
It's the plus number that's with it.
I think the frown is because the number's not as
Oh,
high
there
as
it
she
is. I
wants it to
found
be.
it.
Oh, never mind.
Plus 8, so 17.
No.
Plus 8.
no,
Wait a
no.
second. That's your saving throw. Hold on. Oh yeah, no, your saving throws.
So
Yeah.
Plus 13.
Plus, so your total numbers are 13.
Total numbers are 13.
So Jacob
But it's
says,
positive.
all of the other 2 of you are like, hey, there's like 7 stones in here. Jacob, you recognize that all 7 of these stones are identical in the coloration. You're not sure about the actual formation to the 7 different wall niches that were in Azongo's tower.
Oh, whoa.
Okay.
Well, that's definitely a unity of purpose. Maybe not
Well, and-
necessarily a unity of organization.
But also a statue of a tree.
Hold on, I haven't shared this with
that
you guys
also
yet.
has a similar. That also has something
so,
similar.
yeah, so Jacob, do you share that information? with
I'm
us
just
to the party?
basking in my haha. I remembered something you didn't.
the one time.
the one time,
And it's an
Okay,
important
farm
one.
boy, tell us about this religion stuff.
and then I do. Yeah. No, it's. Does it seem like am I remembering back like there was actually a place in the niches for these to go, or just that they in some way just
Or
remind
same
us?
material.
Yeah, there was no place like you don't recall seeing. You have a very good eye for it too. That these wouldn't fit in a little niche like above
A
the doorway
sub-niche.
or separate, into it. That when you step into those wall niches, that was it. A body size, like a guard post. So there was no occlusions in the wall that would say a little
no
stone would
sockets or
fit
anything.
here. Yeah, it would go there. It's just that it's the same kind of stone. And I
Okay.
could list them again if you wanted to, but I
No,
probably
that's
wouldn't really
okay.
need to.
Nah.
But it's the same type of stone that each one of those different.
Yeah,
Our
so
characters remember,
So were
and
they
that's what's
trying to
important.
summon something?
I don't know. This is, by your indication, this is a divination, like a scrying device of some kind.
I mean, that's what it would seem to me. But should we ask the priest that's with us? Maybe he's seen something like
Knowing
this.
it's inherently magical, what kind of checks could we make to see if we could figure out how to use it?
He has no idea looking at this thing. He's way low level. That's a neat point, Jacob. about as far as like making an intuitive
another
check.
religion check.
A religion check would be very good.
History for the people who did it. Maybe
Yeah, sure, that's
they're,
great, yeah.
they're studying.
Can I
as
do
you're talking about
perception
it.
so I can see if like I can tell what things are laying around it, how they might have moved?
Absolutely, and you might even do something like that you're just like, well, let's just try something because why not?
15 on religion.
Okay, you're doing good with that. And Jacob, did you roll something just now?
I can, but I don't. I just do a base Arcana. Oh, actually, that's not bad. 18 for just Arcana.
13 on perception.
You're probably very aware that, again, there seems like divination is happening here, but that doesn't give much of the mechanic of how to. And what was yours?
13.
And your attempt was for?
Perception to see if I notice things that are laying around it.
Yeah, nothing comes up right that. But, so Boris, you had a 15 again?
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking that in some way you cast the stones.
Okay.
You
Like in Stardust,
like-
where you throw the rocks up in the air, and
Or in my actual IRL religion doing a rune cast.
okay. Well, you know what? I was.
So
Didn't know.
what about are there any papers laying around that somebody would have been using this in like jotting down a note or
No, there's not. There's no paper
papers.
notation in here.
I'm going to pick up, you said there's 7 stones?
There's
kind
7
of like the
stones.
sand, like Zen garden thing.
Right.
Then how rune casts work is concentrating on a question. But I don't think I'm going to do a question so much as just like guidance and then pitch
Okay.
them back into the sand.
That's reasonable.
them actually in
Kind
your
of
hands. Though, like,
vague enough,
how
too.
do the stones look now that he's picking them up? We can see all sides. Do they have like a is it just like a 2-sided stone where like one
yeah,
side?
like little like flat discs.
Are
or
there
they
any
kind
carvings
they're
on
more
them?
like-
natural pebbles?
They're more like flat discs, kind of like
Okay.
you could put them in your palm. There's
Okay.
It's like
roughly
it's one side flat,
roughly
one side has a
circular.
carving kind of a thing.
No, there's no actual carvings in them at all. It's
Oh.
just the type of stone that it is.
When he picks up the stones, do I notice anything change in the room? Did anything change at the
Yeah,
altar?
'cause you
Did
still got
anything
your
change
detect
any?
magic
Did
going.
anything change anyplace else?
No, nothing's changed at this point. It's still just rating its power. It's never been deactivated. It's,
Right.
It's still just in an
Okay.
active state.
So yeah, casting them into the sand.
Oh, he said there's
seeing
only
what
like a
do.
foot and a half by a foot and a half. I'm sitting there thinking like you're throwing them up in the air and it's landing like a 25 square foot area.
No, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's very clear the moment you cast them that they don't just follow what would be a natural trajectory.
Okay.
That somewhere over the actual surface of the box itself, they change trajectory to where they're making
in the air.
kind of like a different angle turn, suddenly skewed angle to wherever you're throwing them to. And what's odd is with what you had just said, as far as guidance, that 2 of the stones land right on the edge of the box, and the other
Okay.
5 arrange themselves on the sand.
Do they
Okay.
arrange themselves like in an
In a-
arrow pattern?
Not in anything quite so obvious as that. There's
Does the sand itself look any different?
yes, the lines in the sand changes as well, but
Ooh.
3 of them seem kind of clustered together in like a little line,
Uh-huh.
Okay.
and then there's 2 other stones that are off by themselves. To put it that way.
Insight to try and infer a pattern.
And
yeah,
I'll do
I agree.
survival to see if I can.
I'd like to roll insight as well.
yeah. So each one of you go ahead and make those rolls.
I'll do survival to see if I can gauge like where the stones are, maybe a way they're oriented, knowing where we are.
Yeah, like it might
directionally,
be
if
some
they're-
kind of
Right.
map or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
Weird.
18.
12.
26.
Okay.
Nice.
So, well done. Then you're all getting an idea, and it really came out in you guys saying it just now, that what's the pattern here? Is it a kind of a map-like thing? And Jacob, with your eye and you're taking them through
How you've mapped all over everywhere.
all over the
Yeah.
place, yeah, that you do say, well, the relative position of that stone is almost like if we were to take that to be the throne of the ages,
Gate of the
the
Ages.
gate of the ages, the throne of Indara, if that were that stone, then this stone right here would probably be Sarntar Azul, Izango's tower. I'm not sure what that place is right there. And then maybe even like some other kind of a religious
Are
site
the
or-
lines delineating like landmarks, like rivers or mountains or something?
and the
As
line,
he's looking at that and you're doing survival things?
yeah, not
Yes.
exactly topographical, but you do get a sense as you're going through that the area, if he's right, and what's like Sarntar Azul is Sarntar Azul, it looks like that one, and then the one stone kind of off by itself in relation to it is in a large plain,
Uh-huh.
a
Is
large
the
open
cluster
area.
of 3, could that possibly be representing the 3 of us?
Maybe.
Is a map probably not, but it does.
Unless we're really powerful all of a sudden.
Well, and then one of those other points looks like what you're as you're extrapolating. Say that could be general relationship. It's as though if it were a map, you're looking at it from a great height, and so distances are difficult to gauge. But it looks like one could be what you would know as a Zongo's Tower.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
a Zongo's Tower.
Where's that in conjunction to the line?
And is there just one at where Zongo's Tower
A
would be?
little south of the line, like kind of off by itself and south of the line.
Okay.
And there's only one where Zongo's Tower would be?
And just one where there's
Okay.
a Zongo's Tower, and like one where it seems it would be the Gate of the Ages, the Throne of Indara.
Because my thought process where it originally went was like, okay, maybe this is like the pieces of the tree, and if there was multiple at the tower, then that would correspond to something, but no.
The way they've all laid out, it looks like those three together, like to clarify the point for you, Jacob, is that these three together could, in relation, really easily be at least two of them, one being Zongo's Tower, one being Sarntar Azul, and then there's some other one near there that for you is yet an unnamed place.
Okay,
like
but
an unknown
just-
location.
If thinking of it as a
Yeah,
map,
so-
because they're so close together, it's hard to differentiate because
right,
the
right.
size of the map
Oh,
that
I
we're
see,
dealing with.
But
okay,
then-
the scale.
But then off even further south, the proportion is right, would be the Throne of Indara.
Okay.
And then that's what's giving the relation to
Okay.
where Zongo's Tower is, where Sarntar
Oh,
Azul would be.
gosh. Thinking of an 18-inch square map that would represent everywhere we've been, that would be tiny with
Right.
the distance that we traveled.
Yeah.
But then
That's why they're all
way,
kind of clustering. I
Yeah.
guess.
way north.
Overlapping, probably.
And for a moment, you're thinking, is that Gryan? There's one that's way by itself. It's it'd be north of all the different
One of the ones you said
places.
was like way at the edge of the
That's
box.
way at the edge of the box, right? Not on the actual edge. It's like two of them weren't even involved.
Okay.
It was just five of them being used in it. It's like the magic of your question divination didn't require
All of them.
all of those things, all those stones. But the one that's way off by itself is well to the north. And you said you made like a 24? On
26.
26. That it's even further north than Gryan.
Yeah.
So wasn't the Black Stair north of Gryan?
That was
That was
due
like-
east.
Yeah, east.
So
East.
I had a different thought. Remember way back ago, when the first time we were using the scrying capacity of the Tower of Zongo, that we looked at a whole bunch of different places, including into the Vistari Hills, trying to figure out like why they've been so weird and the population's been moving around there.
Yeah.
And there's that one just like random tower sticking up like a finger on three hills.
Yep.
Could it be in the Vistari Hills?
So with your roll of 24, Jacob,
6.
I'm sorry, you can do that, yeah. With your roll,
With your roll of 6.
with your roll, no, all due credit. With your roll of 26, Jacob, that makes more sense because Gryan would be like way north, but the proportion that you're really gauged doesn't make sense that that's where it is. So you're thinking, yeah, when you guys zoomed way to that single minaret-like tower
Okay,
in those
yeah, that does-
Vistari Hills, it's even further north, and that makes this proportion.
So-
This is
So
why I got
why-
excited over the divination thing. Now, all I'm wondering is, do we know how this box works enough to where we could build a bigger box?
I've got an idea. I want to roll an insight to see if Boris has this too.
Okay, well, but hey, Jacob's question first.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Damn.
This
Okay.
would be mechanic, and you could even imagine these guys, with the level they had, that they couldn't best one of these lizards or two or three of them, that there's no way they made this thing.
Oh,
That
okay.
So
whoever
they
got
found
this
it somewhere.
artifact got it from someplace
Yeah.
else. So it could be a case that it's quite old.
What I was wondering about with the insight I was asking if I could roll was basically if they're indicating like sites of power. That it's like,
You said guidance. What you asked for is guidance.
yeah, that what I'm wondering is, could this be like maybe interacting with your spell and it's like detect magic on like a macro scale, like a super macro scale?
So let's try it again. What if we toss the stones again, but instead asked for danger, for places of danger, and where that came up?
Okay.
Like threats to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think keeping it simple with danger makes sense.
I'm wondering if danger's too vague though, because danger could just be anything that could be potentially.
That is what I was
dangerous.
wondering, because
But threat
all of
would
these
be-
places are places of power and places of
Yeah.
danger.
So I think threat would be good because that would be like a direct danger to us
yeah,
specifically.
that it's personally hostile.
So is that
That's
what we
semantics.
want?
That's linguistics.
So okay, so I'm going to
Oh,
gather up
magic
the
is
stones
language.
this
Okay.
time.
All
and I-
seven.
And God's
and
sitting at
I
the table
wanna
with us. He knows
hold
what
them
we
in my
meant.
hand. I just
Yeah.
want to feel their energy. I just want to see if there's
Meditate
anything.
with them for a sec.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just want to kind of feel them.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
Because I want to make it clear that I'm not talking about the wasps. I'm talking about the real
Yeah.
dangers.
Again, on a macro scale.
Exactly. And then I'm going to toss them into the sand and see
Oh,
what
special
happens.
rocks. Where is the big bad? And throws them.
So as you toss them, all 7 land inside the boundary, the frame of the sandbox itself. That area where before you guys had extrapolated might be that one single tower way up in, those hills are called the Vistari Hills, that up in that hill region, 3 of the stones land right there. And before I describe the other ones, they don't stay still. They just start turning and staying turning in that spot as though there's a few different things there of danger and they're all there.
I don't know why, but I hate that so much. That's just creepy.
The other 4, one of them lands in the spot you think might be Sarntar Azul, where it had been before Jacob, and then another one where it had been that spot that was like adjacent to it, was so close you couldn't tell the difference, that it seems to have gone, those 2, right back to those same 2 spots. And then there is another spot that's further down south, you might say is in the Rejek Hegiek Mountains, and there's one to kind of northwest of Sarntar Azul. Now, as all that's happening and those 3 are turning, one of the stones of those 3 in the Vistari Hills lifts up and moves itself and drops itself down to a different spot.
Oh,
Creepy.
whoa.
And it looks as though it landed in a spot by how it's adjacent might be Weldon.
Nope.
Oh, whoa.
Nope.
Yeah.
Wow.
Heavy nope.
Okay, so wow. I wonder if we can ask yes or no questions to this.
So now there's just 2 that are turning and oscillating at that place that might be in the Vistari Hills.
I
but
wonder
that
if
one's
it's telling
relocated
us
itself.
about Sylvain.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
That
We
there's-
picked up this box, right? This box is portable? Or is this box like built into the ground?
No one's tried to lift it at this point.
Okay, well, I won't do that just yet.
So what I'm wondering is if Sylvain is nosing around in Weldon like he was in Warland.
Let's grab the rocks and find out. I mean, will it? I don't know if we can ask a yes or no question.
For all we know, it's like a direct and constant commune spell, and we can ask until our eyes fall out.
Right. So I'm gonna grab the rocks, and I'm going to. We've never seen Sylvain.
We
Well,
have.
we do.
We
Yeah,
have
we saw him
recognized him.
directly.
We don't recognize him.
No,
right.
I think we saw him with the
Yeah,
tower.
I think that was
Oh,
Jacob
that's
that
right.
actually.
That's right. That's
yeah.
right. That's right. So
Yeah.
okay. So
I
I'm going to
recognize that
picture
guy from
him.
walking past us in
I'm
the
going
city.
to picture him and ask, is he in Weldon? And I'm going to toss the rocks.
And as you toss that, the rocks actually go to the perimeter for all of them. It lands on the frame. It seems to be the wrong kind of
Okay.
question.
Okay,
So
so
they
it
can't
is
ask
some
for
kind of
it.
like a location.
Jacob
Right.
kind of wants to say, stop here for just a moment, because the last time we tried to do anything where we were divining information about this man, he looked directly at us and then left. So I'm
That's
terrified
true.
that if we do too much about this, he
Show
might go
up here and kick
"Yeah,
our
like,
butts.
oh,
He'll show up
they're in
right here and-
Shepton, and then appears.
So I wonder if this is more geographical, if this is more like
I am thinking, yeah, that
Right.
it is indicating maybe not sites of
Locations
power
and-
necessarily, but sites of relevance, for want of a
Right.
better word.
right, okay. But I do understand now why they were trying to protect it, because if they were just trying to figure out how to use
Valuable.
it, they weren't sure exactly how to use it.
Well, and
Okay.
Boris, what was your Arcana check? Not Arcana, your religion check from a little bit ago.
15
When you were so with that check, and because Zelda said something
Yeah.
about, or maybe Jacob had,
contextualizing and recontextualizing.
about can we pick this up and just take it with us? You believe that it is some way drawing upon this altar to Uko.
Okay,
That
yeah,
it is a
I
thing
share
that,
that.
needs to be in proximity
It
to an
needs
altar of
a
Uko.
battery.
I mean, Balter. Boris is like an altar to Uko.
A mobile infantry.
I am a source of power. I am not a fixed source of power. I'm not a site of
that you
power.
believe that you could pack this thing up and take it with you, and if you took it all the way back to Warland, you could take it to like
Or to
Timothy's
Azongo's
Chapel.
Tower.
Right.
Yeah, to either
Who
one of
knows?
those.
If we took it to Azongo's Tower, it might give better answers.
Yeah, and that it would work definitely in those locations, but it probably wouldn't work anywhere
Yeah.
in between.
I
That's
am
right.
hesitant to move it right now,
Yeah,
though,
I would agree.
because windows look two ways.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. No,
Yeah,
I think, I
Jacob's
think,
point.
I
No,
think we
no, no, no.
leave it,
In
but
a
I
scary
do
way.
think that it needs to. I understand now why it was under protection.
Right, yeah.
If we take the stones with us and we just say, hey, don't mess with this thing, they can't use it, they can't do anything potentially dangerous with it, and we know that we at least have the power to come back to it later, just in case no one else does
Yeah,
anything dumb.
yeah, they'd definitely be transportable.
It's a thought.
We take the keys to the car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we want to check the other room?
Yeah.
May as well, yeah.
What
Is
magic?
there any other questions that we wanted to ask, or I guess that kind of answers the majority of it, and we kind of hit
Yeah.
a point where we don't want to ask anymore.
Right. Yeah. We're at risky territory now.
Yeah.
Right. So what maybe if you think about something, you could do it and go back later. Now, Jacob, you suggested, are you going to pocket all 7 of these stones?
Yeah, I think so. I like, do the stones themselves
Yeah,
give
I
off the
would
power,
kind
or
of
was
like
it
to
the box?
leave. I kind of like to leave the stones here and have them study it, particularly if this priest of Yuko is going to stay.
I'd rather the tool be a tool and not just something that's immediately feared.
I mean, yeah, him being of the same religion as you, I guess you
Right.
kind of trust him inherently. But putting
Okay,
him
so
in
then
charge
leaving-
of things.
leaving the stones
person,
then.
I trust him.
Okay. leaving the
Since
stones.
he's indicated that he's a good person, and
All
the
right,
graves trust him, and I trust them.
let's go
All
look
right.
at the other door that is totally not trapped.
Okay, so all right, so you're not even checking for
Oh,
traps this
No,
time?
no, he's checking.
Okay.
He is checking if I have to pick him
do
up
I
and throw him
detect
at it.
magic from behind? door?
You do. You detected
Okay,
like
so there's
small points of magic. In
How
it.
many?
Magic.
But this is on the other side of the door, right? Not the door itself.
Correct.
Yeah, doing the check on the door first.
Hey, 25.
Yeah, you definitely check that you determine that there is a trap, and it seems to be the same type of trap that's attached to the doorknob that's going to be releasing spring-loaded darts.
Yeah, this one looks clear too, Boris. No, I will attempt to disarm it with. I guess
Your
that would just be that. Yeah, I charm the trap.
There's 7 points of magic inside.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Great dexterity. So,
That's a natural one, I see. So let me roll to hit. So you went to disarm it, and it went ting, 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 ting,
I don't have evasion.
and fired all these things at you. So armor class.
8 it was my check, though.
8 was your
Yeah.
armor class?
20 is my armor class. 8
Okay.
was my check. A natural 1 doesn't necessarily mean to fail on a skill
20
check.
for a 28, 16 for a 24,
You done did got
and
stabbed.
an
Bud.
11 for a 19.
I'm sorry, you only got
Two,
Wouldn't you have had
two of
any
them
ability
hits.
to kind of duck when you heard the click because you knew what was
that's
coming?
evasion, and I get that at third level
Oh.
or second level, something like that. Not this level.
Okay, so first off, you took 5 points of damage piercing for the 2 darts, 3 on one and 2 on the other.
Yeah.
Need con save. I guess we'll treat it as just a single con save for both their damage.
You are getting a +4 on your con save because you're within 10 feet of me.
Oh yay! Throwing
Good-
my dice.
Good to have friends.
Good to
Hey.
have paladin friends.
Yeah, and also
Yeah.
I don't know if evasion works against traps that have it to hit either. Now that I'm
Uh-huh.
thinking about it.
Not my
Uh,
department. I
con
just have good
save.
armor class.
Constitution saving throw +4 from you, right? Oh, flat 20, unnatural.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yay.
very nice. Yeah, so made your save, and you're taking then 11 points of damage.
All right, so that was
Wow.
how much for the first one and then 11?
That was so
It
5
was
on
8, you said?
Yeah,
Or no?
so you got 5 points of damage from the first one. That's half damage was 5.
Okay.
And then 4 was your half damage on the second one.
Do I take half damage? Or I made the save. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So a little nauseated again, but
Did you successfully open the door?
no, it's still locked.
Sheesh.
Well, dang it! I should have just unlocked the door and then let Boris go for the trap again. Okay. Well, now I'll go to unlock the door. Oh yeah, 23. Why
many
couldn't
hit-
that have been the last
How many
one?
hit points you go down?
I'm down 16 now.
Yeah, So
Okay.
tink, and you unlock the door, no problem.
Across 2 actions, I'm going to spend 16 and 9 of my total 35 points of lay on hands to put us both back up to full.
Oh, I was gonna say it's like
Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't need that much.
I was gonna say it's like 16 covers me right then.
So door is now unlocked. Who's
I
going through?
will open and go through.
Okay, so you probably like hunch your shoulders just a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe Boris, you don't. You just open the thing.
Adjust my helm.
Yeah, but
Go.
there are no more clicks and triggers because those darts are just all over the floor right now, or like stuck into Jacob's
I was gonna
shoulders.
say like over the floor or like in me.
Now,
Well,
when
forced
you,
out because you got healed and then
True.
push.
when you look beyond, you've seen rooms like this, but it is not in your religious experience. It looks like a apothecary.
Okay.
It actually looks anything a little bit like the stuff
The mortal pestle.
The mortal and pestle. Yeah.
very much
Still
so.
my favorite name of an apothecary. That was awesome.
Yeah, right.
That
and accidental too.
Right.
that as you are looking at all the counter, the workspace in there, the jars of things, the components, all this stuff all over the place, Zelen, you're keying on very particular things that are in this room, and most of them seem to be particular vials or jars,
Okay.
liquids.
When you say I'm keying, do you mean I'm recognizing them? Like I recognize the smell or the color,
No,
or do
your
you mean my detect magic?
Detect
Okay.
magic is leading you to
Okay,
particular
so I'm
ones.
going to point those out just for people to be a little cautious. Just don't walk over and grab that vial because it could explode.
Okay.
Already downing the first vial. We're not supposed to be drinking these.
Yeah, pouring in 3 at a time.
That was just potion of fire, not fire resistance, just potion of fire.
wizard booze, wizard booze, fire water. It's literally Fireball.
I love it.
The first one that your attention comes to, Zelen, is a wand, and
Neat. Okay.
it doesn't seem particularly powerful in its eminence of power, its radiance of power, but it does look like it's pretty reasonable in itself. So that wand in itself. Now with the detect magic, when you start concentrating, it's like the next minute you get more information, and the next minute even more information.
That was 3.5 and rounds. 5th edition is if she can perceive the source of magic,
then she's got it.
Evocation.
Okay. My brain still thinks the
Divination.
slower way. I think it's also an age thing.
Yeah, but I don't think she gets the what it does. She gets the class, and I think you actually have to spend time with the thing to then understand what it can do.
You have to attune with it to get all the information, unless you just recognize it the way we do it, or identify it if you
Spend time with, attune, synonymous.
Or spending hundreds of gold if you completely messing
the
with
identify spell.
Yeah.
So they're moving past the wand.
Evil people.
That you can see that, and it's actually, this person was very fastidious in labeling that the jars themselves and the holder underneath of it are both labeled the same. And 3 right in a row are potions of healing.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Did he
When you
actually-
say jar, I picture mason jars. Do
Oh.
you mean ounce vials?
Like
No,
vials. Vials,
these are
yeah.
moonshine of healing.
Right on.
Do they have any modifiers next to it? Like they use certain colloquialisms like greater and stuff like that?
No, they don't. Just the 3 of them are the way. Now, there are also empty ones that are not there. And there would have been something like a greater healing.
Dang it.
But it looks as though they probably took their best stuff with them.
Yeah, to go fight the lizards and then lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eaten.
Then
Idiots.
the next one where you're
good.
detecting magic, Zelen, is also labeled, and it is a potion of climbing.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then as you're going down, you see that there are empty things of potion of storm giant strength, not storm, of frost giant strength.
Storm giant strength. Hold
That
on.
jumped
But
out.
wait a
I
minute,
don't
those
know.
are
Empty?
empty.
Those are empty
Darn.
slots, yeah.
Ooh.
But then there is a potion of hill giant strength that is
Dibs.
still in its holder.
Yeah, you use strength the most. Yeah, go for it.
And
Yeah.
then again, a lot of different little vials that are holding components of this and that. Empty containers, but there is another full in rating magic that is a potion of fire resistance.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm picturing like a potion of orc wisdom, and it just makes you dumb.
Okay. And
Just
can
makes you
I?
drunk.
So what can I tell about the wand? Anything?
After, we'll say, not really attunement, but being exposed to it, looking at the thing, keeping your concentration up, you believe that it is a wand of frost.
Ooh.
Okay.
That go
do?
ahead and roll Arcana, like if it fits your the knowledge base that you got from the
Good roll.
23.
Okay, yeah. So from knowledge you picked up as you've been reading through, over time reading through the spell book and related books out of stone, that it casts a ray of frost at will that does 1d8 damage. That will also slow a target for 10 feet. I need to go back and roll for saves how that works because I didn't write that on there.
Are there any
it-
penalties
it's-
firing at
it's-
someone
it's
other
a-
than people named Will?
It's a ranged spell attack, does D8 cold, and reduces their speed. I think it's until the end of the next turn.
Okay.
Nice.
So ice, yeah.
So good. Okay.
Now
So
as
neat little holdout thing.
Yeah.
as you are there and you're turning, and as you finish this room going through it, again, you can see Rolf Cuthbert, the wizard, is very interested in this room. Look, it's like, for us, it'd be like, I don't know, Christmas or Hanukkah or something, that he's just really, really excited about it. And both Rolf and Willem say, is that it then? That's all the more traps that there were, that the place is secure and safe.
That we could tell.
With absolute 100% certainty, I can tell you there are no more traps in this entire building.
Marvelous. That's fantastic. Well,
I
How could you say that?
I may have just killed a man. So.
then we'll start reviewing these papers, and that was Willem Lore, that the Abbot of Uko, who said he's reviewing this information and very curious about that window
Scrying
map,
Yes.
that thing, that to see how else that works. But thank you. Whatever else you're doing now before you leave for Sarntar Azul, Thank you for finding out about things that are here.
You will need to resecure that room. That door is obviously now completely shattered and broken. But
Hey.
that scrying tool is not something. I understand why they're protecting it. It's not something that you want everyone to know is even here.
So even the mayors, the Graves, I shouldn't.
They should. No one else.
Yeah, them and you.
All right, then I'll keep that a secret just that way. And will you find out more information about it, or is it just a potentially dangerous item?
If we
regardless?
find more information, we'll relay it to you.
All right, then. Well, best of luck then. If you're leaving today, best of luck on your trip to Sarntar Azul. Thanks for listening. Send us feedback and ideas at The Empire's Edge on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Help us develop the podcast by supporting us at subscribestar.com/the-empires-edge.